Yeah, I think I mean the first thing that kind of hits you in the face is the schedule. You know how everything's been redone, and I think for many years you come here and you have this kind of set schedule. With this year, it's been a little bit different. So, you try to look at it beforehand, try to get a feel of how you're going to fill in the gaps so you can continue to keep working throughout the day for the downtime. So, been able to do that. So it's just a matter of kind of getting, used to the new schedule. And I think, you look forward to, there's an anticipation now of, for the workout, which, when you come in right away, it's kind of, the workouts start, quickly. So it's just a little bit different, and not in a bad way, but I'm kind of excited to see some of these guys get out there and run and work out.
Have you thought about how you'll handle the second London home game, like how that week will go?
Yeah, I think we'll go out there for 10 days. I think it's going to be obviously a challenge for the players and the coaches, and we're looking at things first and foremost to make sure our players are good. That's the first thing that we've been talking about, looking at, investigating, making things right for our players. Knowing that it's a challenge. I mean, a lot of teams will go to the West Coast, play 2 games on the West Coast from the East Coast and stay out 10 days, and we're even talking to a couple teams that have done that to see what they've done. Or people, will go off-site before they go to Mexico, talk to teams of, what they've done there. Knowing that it's going to be a little bit different for our players, to be away from their families. So I feel that, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it as easy as a transition as I can for them. I think we're going to try to just do everything we can to make sure that we do, gain an advantage. I just don't know, because it's a performance-based business. I still think that you have to go out there on Sunday and perform, when you play. I've done it a lot of different ways. I've been out there the whole week where we played on a Sunday when I was with New Orleans, and immediately after the game flew to London, stayed there the whole week. Then obviously when I came to Jacksonville, I've been flying out, on Thursday. So, I've seen it done both ways. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go back to that experience when we flew out after that Sunday game, and try to think about, and I'll probably reach out to Coach Payton and just to kind of remind of what we did with the players, because we were rested, we played well and won the game, and I think anytime you win you kind of look back and say, okay, what did we do there? Well, let's do the same thing. If you lose, you want to make sure you change it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think, it's been interesting for me. I'm a guy that gets out a lot, in the community, meaning, I get out like the hardware stores and supermarkets and, some low-key dive bars, but no, I don't want to go there. So I do that. So I get a chance to really connect and talk to the fan that is doing everything he can to try to get the ticket, the season ticket, and doing, to enjoy the game. And, I have a great amount of, empathy for the challenges that they have. And I look at it as it's a challenge for our fans, it's a challenge for our coaches, a challenge for the players. To sustain our team in Jacksonville, if that's what we have to do, then hey, that's what we have to do. I understand the challenges of the business end, of what they have to do. I think it does open up a fan base for us. I think, we've been very well received there. I think for the fans that, can't afford to go out there, it's going to be an outstanding trip. For those who can't, hopefully, my goal is to win games, and we can help them at the end of the year and get some home games. I think that, so for me, I see the challenges, for everyone in every situation, and every one of them has a point, and I understand that. But at the end, from a business standpoint of what we have to do to sustain ourselves, I'll do whatever we have to do to make sure that we can sustain our organization in Jacksonville. Yeah, I think Leonard did everything that we wanted him to do. I mean, you talk about a workhorse, a guy that carried the load, a guy that had a ton of receptions. We were able to, he did a lot of great things for us. Coming out of the backfield, protection's probably one of the things that, he really did a heck of a job of this year. It was unfortunately not just Leonard, but everyone. We didn't get into the end zone enough. So I think as we, get better and, around ourselves or the players, and we get better in the year coming. And I think that we have to do a better job coaching-wise, situationally in the red zone to be able to score those touchdowns, and I think they'll come. I think, when we look at Miles, first of all, he's doing really well. He's rehabbing well, and we're excited. He'll be back sometime in mid-March. I think that, we're going to make sure that we better the team as a whole. And the one thing about Miles is, Miles has been great. Obviously, he's a guy that is super talented. He's played multiple positions for us already. And, getting him comfortable is really what my main goal is, and putting him in a spot where, he can go and play and maybe not have to worry about a lot of other people. But, he's done a good job. He's been able to call the defenses for us, been a leader on that side of the football. I think at the end of the day, whatever combination is going to make us a better player, that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do that, in discussions with the player first before we, publicly go out there and tell people exactly what we're doing. Yeah, I think what the question was, what led to Todd Wash coming back? I think it's simple for me to see. I mean, you look over a period of time. I think you look at the body of work. You talk about someone that's been around for, with me for a long period of time. I think when you look at what he's done as a defensive coordinator over the majority of the time, you're talking about a defense that's been, probably ranked 5th in the league. And I think a lot of times in this profession, what happens is you get caught up in a, 1 year, oh my God, we got to make a change because we went down. But, there's a lot of reasons. We've had a lot of turnover on the defensive side. We have injuries on that side of the football. All those things come into play. But I have complete confidence in Wash and the rest of the defensive staff. And, we just got to do a better job of coaching and a better job of getting them in position. And, we got to do a better job playing too. Yeah, I addressed that with the first question. It's different in a good way. It's kind of like, before you come in and you're getting everything done. But for me, I have an anxiety now for the workout, because you kind of hear and you're kind of seeing the players and you're talking to them, and then, there's an anxiety level. I'm excited to see these guys on the field, and I think that's what's changed. And, I think, you can just got to work the schedule to make sure that you continue to get work done. Even though you're indie, which is always a challenge in this profession. I think any time that you're doing something for the fans to give them an insight, to what goes on, and that's what our fans want. I'm excited for them. I mean, it gives you a chance. A lot of times people don't know really what's going on, or they just see numbers, and it gives a chance for our fans to see these players at a very young age, or and going into their rookie season, to see how they perform, see what they do. I have a great respect for that. Having been a player in the combine, I always say, the pressure, on a lot of these guys, especially when it gets down to the 40. I used to think to myself, holy cow, I've trained all these months, to run this 40. I'm going to put my hand on the ground, and this is going to be a big thing now. I mean, if I run extremely well, then yeah, it's going to help me. But if I don't run well, I'm in trouble, and I probably only have one other opportunity, but it won't be in front of as many people. So, I always think about what these athletes have done in the preparation, and how much pressure or anxiety, whatever you want to say, goes into how many bench presses, what do they run, and then having to answer questions about arm reach, length, and all those other things get put into play. You go around the gambit, and you got to be on top of your game. You can't afford to go into a room with a bunch of coaches and scouts and not have great enthusiasm or know what your strengths and weaknesses are, things of that nature. So, I give them a lot of credit. I remember, my experience in the combine. You go through this medical check, and I didn't know anything about it and didn't really talk to anyone, and they kind of started off back with like your finger, making sure, and I didn't have any major injuries, and you got these people grabbing you all over the place and looking at your knee and moving your knee. I'll never forget, I woke up the next day and I had the bench press. I'm like, holy cow, I'm sore as hell. What the hell am I sore about? Because in your mind, you're preparing your body to be at its top form, when you get here. And so it's interesting. You'll see them at night. They'll be working on, strides and running, and they put a lot of work into it. So I feel for them when they get it, and I really root for everyone to do their best. You don't want to see anyone, falter because you know they put in the work.
Why do you think that left-handed quarterbacks have become such a rarity in
Yeah, I'm sure more and more will come up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think a lot of them are left-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball. I mean, if I can be a left-handed pitcher and throw in the 90s and play Major League Baseball, that's a pretty good gig. I don't have anyone 300 pounds running at me, trying to take me down. So, but I think there'll probably be more and more of that. I think as long as you can, play the position, and I think the position's starting to change a little bit, with mobility and things of that nature. But I don't think there's a big, there's nothing ever written. I've never seen anything in my whole career where it said we must get a right-handed quarterback. What's that? I don't know. I think it's a hard job to prepare for. I didn't think that when I first became a head coach, because I think you work the whole time and you try to put yourself in a position where, you're aware of things, you've seen things go on. You feel very comfortable that you're able to handle every situation. You have the confidence in that. And I think the more you do it every day, it kind of changes. There's things that come up that you're like, holy cow, that, I didn't expect this. And, how you handle it. And, players are constantly changing, a lot of turnover. There's a lot of things on your plate. So I think the experience definitely helps, more and more. Now when something comes through the door, it's not like, that anxiety level. It's like, oh, here we go. Let me see how I can figure this one out, and help it make it better. Yeah. I think what you do, Mike, I mean, obviously when people are former head coaches, I think they're going to bring, they'll be able to help me, obviously, in the seat I'm in. They understand what's going on. I think those, coaches that like Jay or Ben, they've dealt with a lot of players, a lot of different people. So, dealt with a lot of coaches, managed a lot of people. So I think, those things are always going to help you if you handle things, the right way, which both of them did. And then, for me, it was just a matter of, hey, listen, what do these guys want to do? Well, they want to win for Jacksonville. They want to win for us right here. That's their whole focus and their whole goal. And, when they come in there, I look back a lot on, not necessarily their coaching record or what they did, but in the job that we're trying to hire them for. And then when you look at Jay and his play calling ability and what he did, obviously, in Cincinnati, and then you look at Ben and what he did when he was with Green Bay and then he was hired in New York. We're talking about working with quarterbacks and obviously with Jay with coordinating. So those are the things that came into play, and those guys have fit in great. Communication's been awesome. I'm excited about what we've been doing and where we're going. And there's an energy in our offices.
Last one. Last couple of years, you said the personnel part, they're doing the personnel part.
Mm-hmm.
That you wouldn't have any choice.
Sure.
Do you find yourself involved in that so far?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. All of us. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about there's been great, communication, not only with just the coaches and the scouts, but really within the whole building. And I think that, that's the one thing that I've seen that's really going in a positive direction. There's a lot of challenges in our building. It's an older building. There's a lot of walls. There's a lot of doors. I mean, you guys see it all the time. We got to kind of get you through that maze sometimes, and then if Tad's in a good mood, he'll let you cut through, but I think those things are challenges to us. So, our goal has been to let's knock down these walls. Let's break this down. Let's make sure we're communicating. And then my thing, and I was able to speak to people, on the business side and people that run the stadium or do security. I wanted to make sure that I touched everyone that had something to do with our product on the field, with our players, that touched our players, to make sure that they understand that, hey, listen, this is one team. I mean, we're one team, and we need everyone pulling in the right direction. If the grass is too long and the players don't like it, that's a problem. If the mail's not delivered, that's a problem. Don't look at yourself as that you're not part of, helping us be able to win. This is our team. We're in it together. Open door. And I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. And I think that's gone along well. Now we've got to stay consistent with it. And we've got to back it, because we know that, the people in the building, they pull for us and go through it just like anyone else. I mean, when you don't win football games and, everyone knows that you work for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're the one that's out there in the waiting line at the carpool or picking your kids up from school. Everyone wants to know, and our fans, they want answers. And I think that they go through a lot, and they go through the ups and downs like we do. And the more we can keep them informed of what we're doing, I think the better case of being one team.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Yep.